expectancy of the world as a whole as well. If we move to another important issue, Bosun has been talking a lot about food and food security. We're a food deficit country, which means we actually don't have enough food to feed our people. So that's a major problem. And I've mentioned this before, 1/3 of children under 5 are stunted, which means they don't get the right nutrition that they require in this country. Nearly half of the women of reproductive age in Nigeria, about 48% of them, are anemic. And we're still ranked around this as to be the number 172 out of 185 in the world. I'm pretty sure you guys are thinking, why is this guy going through this? He should go get to the point. I will get to the point, but one more thing. Conflict with Boko Haram. Yeah, in the northeastern Nigeria has left a large part of our population without access to enough food. And over 3 million people in Nigeria today require humanitarian assistance. Is this the country we want for ourselves? Absolutely not. But here is the problem. A lot of people have been on this stage to talk to us about why we need to step up. People have been on this stage to talk to us about why government needs to do more. And it is the honest truth. But the challenges we face in Nigeria are what you can call wicked problems. They are wicked problems not because they are deep challenges. They are wicked problems because the requirements that we need to address them on a daily basis are changing. So the way we need to train our kids 5, 10 years ago is not how we need to train them today. And that's what makes them a wicked problem. So even as a nation, if we're willing to address some of these problems, the goalpost is constantly shifting. 10 years ago, due to bad planning or not, we didn't know Boko Haram was going to become the monster they had today. So even if we were working on feeding all the kids and sending them to school, Boko Haram came and made it impossible for us to achieve our goals in that part of the country. It is shifting. The demands for the use of our resources as well is shifting. Even if the president is keen on doing the right thing, we just don't have enough resources to get them done. There's a question I tend to ask myself today. He is my close friend, and I used to be very militant like him. But I've been asking this question in the last 2 years. Can we honestly say to ourselves that everyone in government is out to ruin this country? Honestly. And sincerely say to ourselves that every of our leaders is out to ruin the country. I personally don't think so. The problems here, if you take it to the UK today, and the formats in which they exist in Nigeria, the politicians will struggle. They will. It goes beyond intention. It goes beyond the available resources. It is about applying creativity and unleashing the best set of people in our society to decide that they're going to stand in for the entire society. And I'm sorry to say, it's not just about doing business to make money. It's actually not about doing business to make money. It's not. What I always tell people is, cast your minds back and look at Nigeria in the last 50 years and tell me that we've not produced successful business people. How many billionaires do we have in Nigeria? The dynamics of politics of business does not guarantee that we're going to get an inclusive society that works. And each time you think of societies that currently work, they've had people who set out to make those societies work, even when they were building businesses. You know, people built the railway system in the US. People tried out the first use of steel for bridges in the US. These were businesses that were built on assumption and on the belief that if what they set out to do becomes successful, they will change the world for good. Those are not business people who came to business to make money. They came to disrupt society. They came to change society for good. And I believe honestly that this is what we miss in Nigeria. We have a lot of good business people who are making a killing out of doing business, but we lack missionaries. And it's not only in Nigeria, across the continent. We lack missionaries. We should have people who are not happy with the situation of this continent. People that are ashamed to be Africans, people that are ashamed to be black, and they should be propelled to want to find a solution to our problem. Those are the people that we need to lift us out of where we are today. And it doesn't stop there. Just to help you understand that it is a wicked problem. I'll show you one more thing that we all like, digital revolution. We all like this, right? It's an opportunity, immense opportunity. Immense opportunity for us to do things differently. You know, when the Minister of Science and Tech came into power, one of his agenda was to make sure we can now produce what? Toothpicks in Nigeria. Right? We all laugh. There's nothing wrong with it, because as a nation, if we still import toothpicks, we should actually be producing it and probably export it because we have the input that needs to go into it. It's a good objective, but the challenge is that the world we live in is already moving beyond what it was thinking of. And that's the challenge ahead of our leaders. They're focused on solving our problems genuinely, but the world is not waiting. You know, the world is no longer making toothpicks out of wood, which is what we think our competitiveness is. So how are you going to make that and be competitive? Yeah, that's the challenge, and that's what we now have with technology. Technology is disrupting our lives in tremendous ways. You know, and I see people across the continent who will say that it is none of our trouble. We shouldn't worry too much about technology, but the truth is we're all connected. Everyone in this room is connected. That's the honest truth. People are pushing the boundaries of technology to solve significant problems. Because humans can now connect to machine. Affordable computing power is allowing us to do things that we've never been able to do before. We can process data better. We now have intelligence that is based on machine that is smarter than every one of us put together. And the implication of that is that we can leapfrog development. But unfortunately, we don't have, again, the foundation in Africa to take advantage of those opportunities. Because we've not built those foundations over time. And what we see is foreign entities building this technology and building these solutions for our market. And that's where technology becomes dangerous, because it is a national security issue. You've heard about, you know, future of work changing. You know, imagine when we get to a stage where your medical doctors are attending to you on your iPad or your phone. So even if we now produce good medical doctors in Nigeria, we can't find jobs for them. Yeah? We're talking about education. We're getting to a stage where kids can actually learn on mobile phone. People are creating exciting game-like content to get kids to learn better. While we're still busy talking about how we should shape our education, people are building the new way of teaching. And those people, most of the time, are not based in our society. And you know what I bring to us all? I've said this to leaders before. As we're all seated here, there are foreign companies that knows everything about us better than our government. That's the honest truth. There's a video that's been making the round where I think the Prime Minister or President of Israel mentioned the size of Israel as a country. You know how small they are. But the country does 20% of the global investment in cybersecurity. I believe it's cybersecurity. In security. And it's because they can see the future. They know that that's where the threat is coming from. So that nation is investing 20% of the total investment in cybersecurity. So they are building the future because that's where the next war will be. It's already there. But a nation like Nigeria, where are we? So even competitiveness as a society is going to be based on technology. And it's already based on technology. We know companies like Facebook and Apple are way richer than a country like Nigeria in terms of the revenue they generate. So nations will become more competitive based on how well they are able to use technology. And you know what this will do to us again? You see all those problems we're trying to solve. People are already coming. Mostly is farming. People don't need land to farm anymore. So if we're going to export, and your competitiveness is going to come from your hard farm, you'll be competing with people that will not need 25 or 250 acres of land. Those are the kind of people you'll be competing with. It will probably take you 6 months to cultivate maize. It will take them 1 week.